got it.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mind, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast a marlow or two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another turtle-powered episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 348, recorded on Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the last Patreon pick of the year. This one was chosen by Miles B. The movie is Gamera 2: Attack of the Legion from 1996. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy, Randu. How do?
Around here, that means big money.
How do? How's it going, buddy?
Very, very well. Hey, I believe a congratulations is in order, my friend. You've been wed.
Oh, did you hear I had another shot of Malort?
That's what we're really here to celebrate.
Yeah.
Is that we all were forced to take another shot of Malort.
Yep, that's what happens on weddings.
and
I still
am-
kept that
I'm-
picture locked down.
What?
Locked down.
Did you? Oh, yeah. It's
It hasn't been revealed yet.
in the Fort Knox of your thumb drive somewhere.
Wait for the release date, the drop date of the picture of us
Oh, God.
shooting Malort again.
Shoot. Straight in the vein.
Next up, calling in from round the bend, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up? It's your boy Legion Stains. We are many. Hashtag hard with soju.
That's a lot of stains.
That's
The entire
yeah.
carpet might as well have gone dyed.
Yeah, we are
Look, it's a
unstoppable.
legion of stains, I would say.
Yes,
Covered in stains.
Legions.
they're
of
everywhere. Uncountable
legions.
numbers of stains.
Last but not least, joining us once again, please welcome our Kaiju Correspondent, Chris. What's up, man?
First of all, congrats, Andy, for being hitched.
Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate that.
And I am glad to be hopping on some more quality films from the kaiju genre. And wow, what a jump. I was true story, when Rob messaged me, he's like, Gamera 2, I'm just like, did you cover Gamera 1 without me?
Nah, we have
Absolutely
not.
not.
Never. We would never.
Literally, never. we won't
We
do
need
it.
you, Chris. We're at your beck and call. You know that?
I'm
No.
I'm like Candyman. You have to summon me 5 times.
That's right. You're like fucking MacGruber. We have to pull you out of retirement every 5 years to fuck things up for us.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. Man, it's always good to have you on. You know way more than we do about anything kaiju related. And you've also got your own podcast to back it up. You want to tell everybody where they can find that?
Yep. I am the co-host and producer of GargantuaCast, a podcast dedicated to cinema's biggest and monstrous stars. We are currently on hiatus, but we're actually working on our next season. It's going to be our biggest season yet. We got a lot going on. It's just, that's the reason why we've been quiet in terms of the show. It's just, that's how big this season's going to be. We're doing a lot more in-depth stuff, improving the equipment. We're not just like, okay, we're going to take a few months and then grow into it. No, this season is going to be, is going to be killer. It's going to pop.
Can't wait for the 9-part mini arc about Matthew Broderick's Godzilla 98.
Me too. And I better be on it.
The in-depth analysis that makes that movie great, please.
That sounds awesome, though. I'm excited
Godzilla movie.
for your return. Triumphant.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Before we get into our review, let's go ahead and hit some housekeeping real quick. Since we recorded last, the December poll pick has officially closed, and the winner of that was P2.
P Deuce.
P-Deuce.
P2.
That's what I do every morning.
Oh, right. P Deuce for the win. Bob.
Deuce.
What?
Well, well, the movie is actually called P2, as in parking 2.
I love
It's,
the genuinely confused. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's already a confusing title for a movie.
It is.
It's understandable.
I was like, are you getting mixed up with PT?
Oh no.
Bob.
P2 is a Christmas film. We'll be talking about that very, very soon.
And it also
since the
isn't
December poll
penetrating
pick-
you. That's a bummer.
Not yet. Since the December poll pick is closed, that means we got a brand new poll pick posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this January. Bringing in the new year with another redemption poll. This is something we've done the past couple years, where we look back in our catalog and pick 3 movies that we think we didn't quite do justice when we reviewed them before, and we give you guys the
Easy
opportunity
to
to vote
find.
between them. Yeah, there's a handful. So the 3 movies we'd like to potentially review are The Thing, Scanners, and Reanimator.
Hey, Bob, can you tell me who's
Thing?
winning so far?
So far, The Thing is handily winning.
Oh, surprise, surprise. I don't know. Those are all pretty.
It's the
Big
original,
heavy
right?
hitters.
Not the 2011 prequel.
Not
Right.
that
No, it's
one.
the OG.
All
All 3
original.
of those movies are fucking worth a
Well,
watch. I'm excited.
Technically,
to
the
see
thing
them.
is when we say OG, it's number 2 OG because
Yeah,
it's the
that's
50s
true.
one.
Not the
yeah.
50s one.
True.
It's the Carpenter cut.
Tender one.
That's the one.
Tender.
Make sure you get your votes in before the end of December. We'll see what we're talking about this January. In other Patreon news, we got some Patreon news. Let's settle in here for a second because we got a lot to get through. First up, we got a brand new Patreon supporter we got to give mad shouts outs to. Big thanks to Brendan S. for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love. It really does mean a lot to us. It helps us keep the show going. And as is tradition around these parts, we owe Brendan the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to Brendan.
Slap me in the ass.
Slap me in the ass, Brendan.
Appreciate that. Really, really do. Stickers are in the mail, big dog. Also, in Patreon news, if you support us at the $10 level or above, you get access to a whole backlog of mini casts. These are Patreon exclusive podcasts. Exclusive. You can only get them if you sign up on Patreon. And if you do sign up on Patreon, we'll send you an RSS feed that you can drop into your podcatcher of choice. And you can listen to these episodes anywhere you listen to your podcast, except for Spotify. They're the only sons of bitches out there that won't let you do that. I agree. But we're going to be dropping a brand new show on Friday. I did a mini cast on Last Night in Soho.
Oh, you did?
Okay,
well, Bob. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Still
I
need to
did
see it.
Me too.
It's worth a watch for sure. Edgar Wright
It's
makes
alright.
a good movie. He makes a
Okay.
good movie.
I still got to watch that one.
Yeah.
That was only in theaters
Everybody
for like a
watch it.
heartbeat, and then it was gone. Am I
Yeah.
wrong about
I thought it was going to be there for some reason. That was going to be in theaters for a lot longer, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"Should check it out." And it's just like, oh, it left. It
There's
really
not a
was.
s-
It really
Sorry,
was
go
a Last Night in Soho.
that? They're really like, there's not a
Yeah.
single Chris Pratt in it, so theaters just won't have it.
Thank God there was never multiple Chris Pratts in a movie.
Oh,
if there was,
they
I
are
just am
legion.
unaware.
A legion.
The true legion. Oh God, I'm covered in Chris Pratt.
What's the mother?
God, I'm
Legion
Mario.
What's the Mother Legion Chris Pratt then?
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, that's TBD.
So yeah, go ahead and check out my thoughts on Last Night in Soho, dropping this Friday on Patreon. In other Patreon news, we are going to be reopening our You Pick the Flick tier. This is something we do. I know already. Time flies. This is something we do once
Flies
a
like a
quarter,
turtle.
and
Hey,
absolutely. There's
spinning
only,
and blue light, the whole thing.
there's only 5 spots available per quarter. The only thing we're going to be changing in the new year, actually, there's a couple things we're going to be changing in the new year. So starting in 2022, we're going to be adding a brand new enamel pin that you're going to be receiving whenever you do pick a flick for us to review. This is going to be a one-time gift. We'll send to you the first movie you pick of the year. We're not going to send you the same pin every time you pick a movie, but the first time you pick a movie, you're getting a brand new enamel pin shot your way. And we're also going to be doing something a little bit different here. It's going to allow the chooser of said film to provide their own thoughts and rating of the film they choose for us to review. And we're going to include that.
European style.
We're going to include that in the body of the review. So you can either send us an email if you don't want to record your voice. We'll read your email for you. Or you can call in on our voicemail and tell us your thoughts there. And we'll include that in the body of the review.
And by the way, we have a veto right over here. So don't get all crazy on us trying to get us shut down by the FCC or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, if you say a bunch of horrible shit, then we might not play that. But we don't anticipate our listeners will do that. We believe in you.
You ever see the movie Censor? 2021 Censor?
I still need to see it.
It's pretty good. I think the only other thing we've got going on here is Joe Bob Live Watch Party, Friday, December 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing a Joe Bob Watch Party just like we always do. I'll send out an invite link just before showtime on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And we all get together and watch Joe Bob on Zoom and have a laugh and a little chat. So if you want to join us, that's Friday, December 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anything else you guys have to add?
For our housekeeping in general?
Yeah.
This was a filthy house.
Yeah,
Very.
I recently was on the Cut Above horror podcast talking about a little Christmas special called Christmas Evil. We have covered that before here on this podcast. I was happy to talk about it again, and that is now available in all of your pod catchers. So if you want a double shot of soju this week, definitely make sure you check that out. Other than that, my house is clean.
Oh yeah.
All right.
This house
All
is
right.
This house is clean.
Take a quick pause here. Is Randy cutting in and out to you guys, or is that just on
Am I?
my end?
No, I will say if you guys heard some knocking, that was my sister. She gave me dinner.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, how dare she?
No, Randy sounds fine to me, but for some reason
Yeah.
I'm like hardwire plugged in, but it keeps like bouncing between this and my Wi-Fi. I don't know why.
Zoom sucks.
Let me go check on this. Hang on.
All right.
Oh, you say his wife? Yeah, maybe it's Zoom. Well, how are you, YouTube? Are you well?
Oh,
How
good.
you
Been eating.
doing?
I've been doing good. We've been working on GargantuaCast stuff. Work has been kicking my ass, but that's what happens when you work in retail in the holiday season.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
No
know
doubt.
why it's doing that. So let me test it since we're stopping anyways. Oh, okay. No, it's good. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that.
Is it
It
coming
is.
through on your end, Bob?
Yeah,
His-
I can
his
hear
head-
y'all.
No, like is Justin's cutting in and out causing a problem on your end?
It sounds, I think it's coming from you, Randy, but I could be wrong. It's sort of intermittent, and it's hard to tell because when we're all talking at the same time, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly
Mm.
where
Yeah.
it's coming from.
Okay. I didn't
well-
notice anything.
Okay, maybe it's, I don't know. You sound fine now. Hopefully it continues.
We'll see. All right.
So,
the house is
well,
clean. You want to start
yeah.
from there?
Yeah, I'll jump in and say, main event, et cetera, back in the box, yada, yada. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking Gamera 2 Attack of Legion, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
Which, by the way, this film has
What's
multiple
on the
titles.
back of the box?
Is it okay if I
Pagan
call
ritual
it?
had already begun.
Is it okay if I call it Gamera too? Is that cool?
No,
I'm gonna call him Camera.
no.
I have to focus to not say. I don't know. Like camera is in my head, so I just want to say Gamera, but Gamera.
Chris,
Bowser.
what?
Camera.
Bowser?
Yeah, Chris.
Bowser.
Chris, what is the other title of this film? You said there's more than one.
Yeah.
It was the two other titles are Attack of the Legion or Advent of Legion.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Advent. That's festive.
Festive. Legion.
It's a
Nice.
festive Legion.
This again, this was chosen by Miles. Shouts out to Miles. He dropped us a voicemail. We'll be hearing that a little bit later on. This was released in 1996. The runtime is 1 hour and 39 minutes. It is starring a whole bunch of people that I'm just gonna butcher their names. Chris, if you want to take a stab at it or just know how to say them, you're welcome to.
Okay, so I actually pulled up. So we got Toshiyuki Nagashima as Colonel Yusuke. We have Miki Mizuno as Midori Hamani. Tatsumutsu Ishibashi as Hinati. Mitsuru Fukukoshi as Ubitsu. And Ayako Fujitani as Asagi Kusanagi. Which, fun fact about the actress who plays Asagi, she is actually... Hold on, give me a sec. I had it pulled up. She is the daughter of Steven Seagal.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah, the girl who has like the Gamera little trinket. She was the main character in the first movie. She's
Yeah.
Steven Seagal's daughter.
Huh.
And
She
it
didn't
seems
drop
all
kick a
of,
single person.
well, I think all the acting talent skipped a generation and went straight to her.
So wait, she's the girl who can communicate with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Asagi.
Okay, I see. Okay, interesting. That's some great little trivia there.
Good little
Nice.
trivia.
Also got to give credit to Akira Oshasi, who played Gamera, and Mizo Yoshida, who played the Mother Legion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta give credit to the
Nice.
suit actors.
Gotta give the suit actor something.
And Chris, this was directed by who now?
Shusuke Kaneko, and written by... Hold on, I literally just had his name pulled up.
Oh,
Written
Wes
by
Anderson.
Kazunori Ito, aka the writer of Ghost in the Shell.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. Okay.
And
The more you
special,
know.
on this one.
yeah,
Thank you
and
for
special,
keeping us straight,
Yeah.
Chris.
no problem. And special effects by Shinji Higuchi, who will end up becoming the co-director of Shin Godzilla.
Well,
you
look
go.
at you.
Nice.
I'm glad you have all this baller trivia because when I pulled up, there was like 6 pieces and it didn't have any of this good shit. So, man,
Good shit.
Chris is pulling.
I mean,
like, doing the Lord's work over here.
I'm not an expert. I'm just a nerd that just knows too much.
That's what experts are.
Yeah.
The plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. A meteor lands in Japan and unleashes hundreds of insect-like legion creatures bent on colonizing the Earth. Gamera shows up to deal with the ever-evolving space adversary, but the battle may result in him losing his bond with humanity. Gentlemen, had you seen this movie before and would you recommend people check it out? Chris, you are our esteemed guest tonight. Would you please kick us off?
Have I seen it before? Yes. Will I recommend it? If you're into the kaiju fandom and if you're interested in the genre and you don't watch any of the Gamera film, this trilogy specifically, the Heisei trilogy, you need to get your brain checked because these films are mandatory. These are some of the absolute best, not only kaiju films, these are actually better than most Godzilla films. These are actually better than most Japanese science fiction films. These are some of the best films. I will say Gamera 2 is kind of a hot take for me. It's great. It is fantastic, but it's filler of the trilogy. I say the best films are it flip flops between the first film and the third film, but as a whole, this trilogy is highly recommended. So I say if you're gonna watch them, I say you gotta watch them in order. So you gotta watch Guardian of the Universe, Gamera 2, and Gamera 3.
See, damn it. Somebody on Slack just compared this movie to The Dark Knight, which to me said, oh, so I don't have to watch Ra's al Ghul then. Okay. I can just jump right in.
This one is very disconnected from the trilogy compared. Like I say, Gamera 3 is very much more of a direct sequel than this film. So you don't have to see it, but I just think thematically, all the films work together if you just continually watch them all the way through.
Can I ask something actually, and just to establish? I actually, have we done this? We haven't done the spoiler warning yet. I'll let Rob finish this thing.
Okay, yeah. Randy, had you seen it before? Would you recommend?
I had not seen it before. Is that clear?
Shocking.
Yeah, I think that kaiju fans, I mean, obviously this has a reputation that I wasn't aware of when it was originally picked. I honestly had never seen a Gamera, correct?
Gamera.
So it is fuck. Now I'm correcting the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Same.
Gamera. Okay. Gamera. This is the first Gamera film that I had seen, which is why I need to establish like what the fuck he can do and not do. That was going to be my question a second ago. Would I recommend? Yeah, it's a kaiju fan, certainly. I think that if you're not a kaiju fan, it's probably not going to be for you. And I think it's definitely one of the better kaiju films I've seen. I wouldn't describe myself as a big kaiju fan, but I enjoyed this one well enough. I think that you'll get something out of it.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I'd never seen this movie before, never seen a Gamera film before. Did I say it right? Ooh, that's gonna
Gamera.
be Gamera. Ooh, this is gonna be tough. Anyways,
you fucked me. That's how I was saying it before we started recording, and you fucked me.
But so I was not familiar with the character either, and since the Godzilla movie came out, this Godzilla vs. Kong, I watched a bunch of Godzilla films this summer and even did like a top 5. That's why I was watching so many Godzilla movies. And so this year I've become more familiar with kaiju in general, strictly based on Godzilla films. So by no
fair,
means.
very fair, very fair.
Yeah. So in that realm, this one was okay. It started off kind of rough, but then I kind of ended up enjoying it by the end. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't my bag, baby. And so I don't really know who to recommend this to. I mean, I had a fair enough time with it. So I wouldn't like sway anyone. I wouldn't be like, oh, you don't need to waste your time with that shit. But also I wouldn't know who to be like, you need to watch this, So I don't know. I don't know.
So that's not a recommend, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
unless you have an interest. That's more or less where I was like, if you have an interest, then
yeah. If somebody brought up like even something slightly related, not even necessarily kaiju, maybe I don't know, just Japanese films or something. Maybe I'd mention it and be like, oh, have you seen this? Yeah. Maybe you should watch it. But like, I don't know. It'd be a tough topic to just kind of come up. So, medium. Bob, you have owned this collection for a long time. I assume you've seen it many times and are familiar with this entire series, right?
I own the collection too.
That would be an incorrect assumption. I'm sure Chris has seen them all, so good on Chris. That's precisely why we need to talk to Chris about this. I got the Arrow box set that came out, and in preparation for our discussion tonight, I did watch the first Gamera movie. I hadn't seen the third one yet though, so I've only seen 1 and 2 so far. I dug this movie for what it was. I thought it was a fairly fast-paced, action-packed kaiju movie. So I mean, if you're into giant monsters battling, this movie delivers for you. And it's also cool to see, I don't know, just like more Japanese film, like to get a taste of Japanese culture. I really dig a lot of Japanese horror. It is cool to just like see something other than just a Godzilla movie. There's definitely similarities for sure, but it's cool to see something new to me anyways, even though obviously Gamera's been around for decades. I recommend it if you're into giant monsters hitting the shit out of each other, for sure. And like, who doesn't really want to see that? It's a fun ass movie. It's an action movie, not a horror movie. I don't think anybody was confused on that, but I figured I'd throw it out there.
I mean, that subway scene was the closest to horror.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a couple horror moments.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like a pretty general recommend amongst us all. We're kind of all over the board with this one.
I think that we all kind of understand this is a niche film. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a solid fandom behind it, and I think we understand why. And you don't need us to recommend this to you. You've already seen it.
Right. It's almost insulting for us to recommend it to the people who actually we would recommend
know about it. Yeah.
I'd say, like, and to be honest, I would recommend the first film much more than this one, only because the first film I feel is the most user friendly, if that makes sense. Like, you don't jump into Jurassic Park with like Jurassic World. You jump into the first film.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
You hear that, Miles?
Do you hear that?
What have you done to us, Miles?
Miles,
we'll
wild man.
We'll get to Miles later on. So yeah, let's go ahead and drop that spoiler warning and get into the rest of the movie. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
So, Andy, you said you had questions about Gamera.
So my main question is, because like I just kept being surprised by what this particular kaiju had up his sleeves. Like there just seems like there's an endless well of things that he can do. Like the motherfucker showed up as a UFO. He became a jet. He shoots fireballs. He also has a spirit bomb in his chest cavity. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this guy.
So it was established in the first film. Gamera, well, this version of Gamera is a bioweapon. He was created by basically Atlantis to be a weapon against their first creations, the Gals, which are basically giant bat pterodactyl bird creatures. So he's basically a biological like weapon arsenal.
Okay, that answers so many questions. It's like, God damn, is there anything this fucking thing can't do?
So
big old turtle with a bunch of shit going on.
Does he live in Atlantis when he's not defending Earth?
No, Atlantis is ruined. He just lives in the ocean.
So he
until
his job.
No, he didn't fail his job. It was basically we basically made a solution, but we're already butt fucked.
I will say he gets his ass whooped through 90% of this film.
See, that has been the Gamera formula since its inception. The way it's kind of like a Rocky film or any boxing film. There's the first match and he gets annihilated. Then he has to go heal up or lick his wounds, or children has to sing to him, or in this case, Sagi has to pray to him, because this entire trilogy is one big metaphor on the power of faith. Not religion, faith, just faith as a concept. It's more established in the final film. And he comes back stronger than ever and he kicks the monster's ass.
Well, let me ask you this. How cognizant, I mean, it seems like they're saying that Gamera has like basically human level intelligence or something close to it.
So I guess I gotta, like, in order to explain this film, kind of have to explain the lore of the first film. Gamera was long story short, Gamera's whole job is he's the guardian of Earth. And humans, for the most part, were kind of like, hey, humans live here. I protect humans. But they established in the ending of this film that if humans continue to pollute, which was kind of established in the first film, Gamera might turn on humanity.
And they talk about people complain about shoehorning in fucking ideology into big movies now. But goddamn, that's like, and with now the last line of the film, we're just gonna casually say, guess what? Environmentalism, motherfucker. And we're out.
Number 3, like leading right into it. Oh, we're gonna get fucked by Gamera now.
That was the main point. That's the main point in the third film is people are thinking, did Gamera turn on us? Is he pissed off now? So that's the whole like faith thing. Is do you believe Gamera is good? Like, are we is good? Like, is he actually good, or are we just projecting our ideas onto him, and he's just like a big monster?
Yeah, this kind of instead of Rocky movie, I was honestly thinking like, oh, this kind of feels like Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Well, yeah,
honestly
wrestling
where
and
it kind of
kaiju
felt
films.
like, yeah,
That's
where
what most people compare him to.
he just kind of came out of nowhere and then just kind of slows the guy down a little bit by getting his ass whooped, and he shows up again, kind of slows him down again by getting his ass whooped, and then ultimately he comes out on top just because he needs to. Which, with the chair to the face, of course. He also, what this one reminded me of? His design. This came out in 96. It looks kind of like the turtle from Ninja Turtles 2, that fucked up snapping turtle or whatever.
Ooze turtle.
That's what it kind of looked like to me.
Was it Snapper?
Toka. Yeah, it's a snap
Toka.
turtle. Toka is his name.
He kind of looked like that to me, his overall design.
What's funny is in the 2012 cartoon, they revamped Toka as a giant kaiju as a tribute to Gamera.
Hey, there you go. So yeah, I don't know. It was weird too, because I couldn't help but think to myself, and this might just be a huge taboo thing to say or think, or we can discuss.
Batten down the hatches.
Well, is this just like a huge Godzilla ripoff? Because he looks like lamer than Godzilla. Like even the OG Godzilla, like back in the day, even like the roar was like sub.
This looks lame.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like
this looks lame.
Godzilla's more, I guess. I mean, he's a big lizard, but I don't know. Something about the turtle just didn't sell it for me as like, this guy's gonna whoop some ass.
So time to educate y'all.
All right, give me the education.
So
that's why I bring
Gamera,
these topics up. I'm here to troll.
Gamera was the original Gamera back in 1965 was basically a ripoff of Godzilla. It was Daiei's answer to Godzilla. But in 1995, Shusuke Kaneko at the time, well, a little bit before, like, hey, I want to make a Godzilla movie. And Toho said, yeah, we don't like your idea. So he went to Daiei and was like, hey, you guys haven't touched Gamera in like forever. So let's just revamp the character, but let's modernize it and actually make it good.
It's like a Watchmen situation.
Yeah, and another thing is this basically Shusuke Kaneko, Ito, and Shinji Gucci basically wanted to, because at this time, a lot of filmmakers were kind of looking down on the Godzilla films released at the time because they felt like they were being a little lazy. They lacked a little bit of the heart from the original Showa eras from the 60s and 70s, stuff from Eiji Tsuburaya work, Shiro Honda, all that stuff. And so basically they wanted to make a kaiju film that wasn't being made. This is what they wanted from Godzilla. So let's just make Gamera better Godzilla.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Fair enough. So I mean, it's fair to say though, like originally it was a ripoff, and
I mean,
because I mean, there
almost every Marvel or DC character.
Well, no, yeah, and that's not to say.
To me, it makes sense.
Well, to me, I guess like even the roar and stuff, I was just like, okay, I was trying to get my bearings with it, and I was like, what makes this one special? Why does he stand out? And even too, when we've covered a few Godzilla films, Shin Godzilla, and then like the OG Godzilla, like a couple of those, and so we always talk about what the cultural and like messages, like what is this one really representing, what is it trying to say from a social commentary standpoint. And and because I was aware of that, and I was like, okay, I have a pretty good sense that in some way they're trying to compete with a Godzilla film. So I was like, okay, so what are they bringing to the table? Like what's special, what's significant, what's different about this or important? And by the end, I was entertained and I liked the fights, but the core of the movie was not anything special to me, honestly.
That's the thing I always describe Gamera 2 as filler. It is just an action film.
Okay.
I say thematically, it's the first and third film, especially the third film, are much more stronger. Okay. This is just a popcorn flick. It was meant to be a popcorn flick.
Okay.
But also the whole thing about you not, hold on. You guys are cutting out on my end.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. Hold on. Rob just froze completely.
Oh, really?
Oh, he hears you.
Yeah.
He's waving to me.
See
Yeah,
here.
he's
see
Okay,
waving.
here.
there we go.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. So, what I was saying is the whole turtle thing is in Japan, the turtle is a very important symbol. It is a very important animal to their various Shinto mythologies. It's especially even brought up in the third film, which is funny because Shusuke Kaneko did this headcanon, which actually goes against some dialogue in the film. He has said someone asked like, hey, why does no one call Gamera is like, oh my god, it's a giant turtle. He says, there's no turtles in the Gamera universe.
Like actual animal. There's no actual animal of a
That's
turtle.
what he said. I call
Okay.
bullshit.
Okay, I was like,
universally turtles just don't exist.
okay.
Fuck. Poor Filbert. That's interesting. I don't know. Like I think also like just because of like I don't know, America is way more Eurocentric than it is, you know, filled with anything Shinto or anything Japanese or those things, you know, just by virtue of how it came about. So I think maybe just the pure basic fact that, you know, you've got Godzilla as stand-in for fire-breathing dragon, and then you've got a turtle, which doesn't have an analog the same way that a dragon provides for Godzilla. So I think that just on a pure sort of like monster level, like monsters that we're familiar with from childhood, maybe that's part of it. Because I felt kind of the same way until he was doing all that shit. I was like, this motherfucker is way stronger than Godzilla. It seems like he's at least got more tricks. Like,
He can
goddamn,
fly.
that motherfucker can fly in two separate ways. Like
Yeah,
he
he's
is
got
more
fucking
transformer
rockets.
than anything. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so I'm glad to hear that there's like I'm not glad to hear. I'm glad that I didn't miss, like I was looking at like Justin, like looking for sort of like a core conceit, like a messaging. And the closest thing to it was the last line of the film. And so I was like, oh my God, that's a little bit much.
Again, as I said, that's why I said watching this film as a trilogy works because they all like
That
are
leads
pieces
in.
to a large. Yeah, and in terms of like thematic richness, the first and the third one are much more richer, much more, especially the third film, which is mostly about characters debating about Gamera.
See, I would
So
love that. That sounds great to me. I don't know, man. Like, go ahead.
The
Bob.
second this installment in the Gamera franchise is the Halloween Kills installment of the franchise.
Legion dies tonight.
I wouldn't say that because Halloween Kills it's a film that thinks it's much more than it actually is.
That's very true.
So
This movie knows what it is, though, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's fun popcorn flick. It's great. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like a cheeseburger from McDonald's, like a fast food cheeseburger. I say it's like going to a nice restaurant and asking them to make their cheeseburger.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a Chili's.
He said nice. I want to talk about Legion a little bit here.
Legion is my favorite Gamera kaiju. One of my 5 Mother Legion is probably the most impressive suitmation thing ever.
That's what we got to cover, man. Like the look of these monsters is very like I don't know, like the effects, I guess I should say, are fucking awesome.
And what's funny is the Gamera trilogy actually had a smaller budget than the Godzilla films released at the time. The thing is, the director Shinji Iguchi is smart. Like not the dog on Koichi Kawakita. He's a great special effects artist. It's just, you know, the problem is those films were being released on an annual basis, so there's not a lot of time to perfect the craft. You know, these films had a bit more time, and Shinji Iguchi just knows how to. He's one of those filmmakers that knows how to be creative with constraints.
Well, I think Legion looks baller, and I like that there's sort of a swarm of them, and also like the big Mama Jamma Legion creature.
Oh yeah, Mother Legion.
Mother Legion.
I'm gonna go with Mama Jamma.
Mama
Mama
Jamma
Jamma.
Legion. I thought like even though some of the science was delivered very flatly and out of nowhere, like it's probably impossible that our characters would be able to deduce what they do so quickly about these aliens. But I like the thoughts that are behind them. So like they ride to Earth on a meteorite, which I guess we later find out is probably just one of their like little like
Flower
pods, yeah, that they ride to Earth. And that's how they colonize different planets. So as soon as they get here, they get ready to blast off again on a brand new flower pod and go take over another planet. And I thought that was sort of
Earth was just a rest. Earth was just a munchie stop.
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
just a refuel.
It's a Bucky's.
They just started blasting.
Earth is just the Bucky's of the universe.
we got to Earth and just started blasting, dog. I don't know. I like how the characters are talking about how Tahiti was like the birds brought most of the plant life to Tahiti just by flying back and forth. And I was like, that's a cool thought that like just space in general could work that way if aliens were able to travel from galaxy to galaxy, and Legion obviously are able to do that.
And I also
interesting idea.
Yeah, and I kind of have that cosmic horror where these things are not compatible with Earth. Like if these things don't live on, were not made for Earth's environment, and as such, they had to convert it to an environment they like, which is lethal to anything around them.
Yeah.
Hyper oxygenated.
Yeah, so it's one of those things like the whole line, like we got to kill these things to extinction. It's like kind of the cosmic horror thing where it's just like they're not compatible. It's kind of like a xenomorph, where the xenomorph is basically, it's not going to communicate or be like friendly towards anything. It's just a living blender with legs.
Yeah.
See, I think that's the thing I like best about this movie is that that's one of the things that I do really like about this movie is the, it's obviously, it's unreal science, it's sci-fi, but the science that they're basing it off of is at least logical in some way for the most part.
What's funny is if you actually talk to Shusuke Kaneko about these films, he does not describe them as science fiction. He describes them as fantasy films.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely could see that. I mean, as far as like the cadence of the film, it feels more fantasy.
No, yeah,
but like in terms of like the nuts and bolts, like the internal logic holds up well enough. Understand.
Well, I like that they base it a lot off of insects. She is constantly saying like, "Oh, do you know of this kind of ant, these kind of thing?" Like I think that helps ground it in a sense where everybody's like, "Yeah, okay, I know how ants work," and and I like how they swarm like that. There's a different, like, they have a purpose for each different iteration, but they all service. I like her explanation of, they're all separate, but you need to think of them all as one piece. They all service each other, even though they look different, they operate different. I kind of liked how they broke each piece down. They're
organs to one whole organism.
Yeah.
And that's why
dirty to me.
That's why I think the whole describing them as Legion is very poignant.
The naming of it, like when the guy did it, I was like, that's a little dramatic, because this one soldier on the battlefield names it, and then every country across the world is
good branding is good branding.
Yeah. They have to name these things. I mean, hell, they kind of made that a point in the first film where like the reason why Gamera and Gauss, the main villain of the last film, got those names was from an old legend, and the government's like, well, these damn things need names, might as well.
This movie, so it also it does a lot of the things that I think are funny about kaiju films, especially the older ones. Like some of this has been played with a lot more and like quote unquote corrected by modern films, but like things like having what's her name, and the two scientists looking out their window and just having like their reaction shots be just like
Midori and Ibutsu.
They like, it reminded me of a movie called Reptilicus, which is like a horrible B movie from way back when. Exactly. But there's this shot in that movie that always makes me laugh, where a scientist runs out of a building and then takes off his glasses to look at Reptilicus, who is like miles and miles the fuck away in the ocean. It's like really ridiculously it's like Superman eyes to see this shit. And that's how it felt like there, until I finally realized, they're in a skyscraper. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like little silly cheesy things going on in this that still make it feel like that level of funny to me, that level of like silliness going into it. Which can be a detriment to a movie like I don't know, like other kaiju films that are trying something a little more like serious or sincere. I really like my favorites are still the movies that treat kaiju as a force of nature, that is not to be reckoned with. They're not your friends. They're just something that you have to deal with as
think that's
these
why-
inferior beings on the planet.
That's why I really think the third film would be up your alley, Andy.
It sounds like it. So like that. So to me, like this one, like it feels a lot of the hokiness qualities that is fun for a kaiju film, but it doesn't fulfill like the as much anyway of the societal commentary or like the, I don't know, the stuff about infrastructure and stuff that they deal with in like Shin Godzilla. I just really love the way they handled it in Shin Godzilla. As this is not a, like, there's no question about it being our friend, really. Like it's just a thing that we're dealing with. It's a crisis, and you know.
Yeah, and without spoiling it, the whole point of the third Gamera film, the main character is a character who hates Gamera because Gamera landed on her family's house and killed her parents.
He's just blasting, dog.
Fucking camera.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, he just like, it's like, in fairness, like Gamera is a, you know, like 60-meter tall giant turtle. So
Yeah.
I don't think being careful is anywhere near like his mindset. I don't even think that's a concept of his.
Well, that's something
Yeah.
they kind of play with in the one of the newest Godzilla movies too, where the woman she kind of goes crazy because her son was killed because Godzilla accidentally stepped on him or whatever. It's like,
which is funny.
still
These films, I feel, influence modern Godzilla films more so than some of the Godzilla films of the past 20 years.
Let's see.
Yeah. That
Like
makes
I feel
sense.
like the biggest influences are the stuff from the 60s, some of the stuff from the 80s, the only two Godzilla films in the 80s, and this trilogy.
One thing I liked that this one was able to do was because there were different iterations of the monster, the small ones are able to kind of come on a human level. Because for the most part,
Yes.
you know, they're these giant monsters and the humans are trying their best to
Not get
aid-
stepped on.
Yeah, not get stepped on, or most of the time they just get blasted away in their shitty tanks or whatever. But in this, at least like we talked about with the subway level, you know, there was something like to come and get you, not just step on you or blast you away, but
Yeah.
you know, to
love
come
that.
and actually eat you. Or I like too, where we were talking about how they're made for this or not made for this environment stuff. When in the final kind of scenes where they're in that building and the guy's like shooting it and it doesn't
Yeah.
bleed, it's just like losing air.
I love
Yeah,
that.
they
was cool.
established.
That
They
was pretty
established they don't have
interesting.
they don't have muscles. They have like
Yeah.
they're like a tire. They're just moving by just
Compressed air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compressed air,
That was pretty cool.
I like
They're
that too.
pneumatic devices.
Which is funny. Like I feel that's a clever way to like justify some of these special effects that are used in these films. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like a lot of times in these films when things are shot, sometimes there's like an air like popping out, and there's just like,
Mhm.
how can we incorporate that into the creature's anatomy? Oh,
Mhm.
they're like basically walking tires.
Yeah.
When you guys saw like the smaller creatures, like one-on-one with humans, did you happen to get any Starship Trooper vibes from that? by any
Kind
chance?
of.
Definitely.
Yes. I got
Yeah.
like when I saw this film a while ago, not even a while ago, when I first saw, like, I first was exposed. I saw the first film when I was a kid. I haven't seen the second and third film until I was like late middle school, early high school. But I do know about the creatures via trading cards I bought at like a local comic shop. They had imported Gamera merch, and when I saw the legions, I'm just like, are those the bugs from Starship Troopers?
Yeah, they look a lot with the big old
I-
pinchers and black, but they kind of got stripes. Or yeah, they look very similar.
I've never seen Starship Troopers to my
What?
to my shame.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody
yeah, yeah.
pick that.
What?
place,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Bring me on,
yeah.
bring me on. I love Starship Troopers.
But yeah, the only thing I think about is Cloverfield, especially because they were in the subway. And
Okay,
everything.
I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams were inspired by the Legion.
That's what I
for
was gonna
the-
say. Is like it seems
Yeah.
almost too coincidental. Like that, there's no way they haven't seen Gamera if they're making fucking Cloverfield 1.
Yeah.
Like,
And I also really one thing I also enjoy is there was a good mystery buildup for the Legion. Like first was the meteor, and then there's like wow, the crash site, like there's a meteor, but where's the actual meteor itself? Like there's just an impact point without any like debris or anything, and it's like, oh, it's like super oxygenated for some reason. Then we had the scene with the like at the distillery, or that one shipping thing, which by the way, that one of the security guards was a major character in the first film and becomes another character again in the third film.
Figured
And-
that. I was like, this guy's got to be a callback to another, because he's like, oh, this happened to me before. It's just the guy you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then like we get the subway scene where the Legions first slaughter the director of Tetsuo the Iron Man. I'm not even joking.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Yeah, the subway driver. Is that what you call them? Subway drivers? Subway
Conductor.
I don't know. A conductor, yeah.
Engineers? Yeah.
And that's the director of Tetsuo the Iron Man. He's friends with Shinji Iguchi and Shusuke Kaneko.
That's badass, man.
And he gets slaughtered by the Legion, which I was not expecting all that blood and gore when I first saw the film. Like when you just see the guy's hand and just it literally just looked, it just got Evil Dead, where it's just like someone just had a bucket of blood and just threw it at the window.
You know, I really liked, this is kind of an aside, but I liked the Mother Legion fine. Like I thought that was a cool suit and everything. I liked that it had the multiple arms. It was, I don't know, it was very articulated and stuff. But I think that I like the creatures, the Legion spawn better.
The Legion soldiers.
Just the way they move is like kind of uncanny valley, like at first I thought, okay, this is like, this animation is a little wonky or whatever, but it plays really well once you realize that they're powered by pneumatics of some kind, or by air compression and shit. It just like, I don't know, they're like fucking these horrible balloon animals that want to murder you. I kind of love that once I found out the logic behind that.
And probably the scene that really got to me, because this brings back some childhood memories, was the scene where when Gamera destroys the first flower, all the Legion soldiers, like it's what happens when you step on a fire ant hill. You know, they're all going to crawl and start biting you. And it's like, that brings me back to memories when I stepped on a fire ant hill when I was 5.
Yeah, I love that scene too. It gave a texture to it. They're so loud. I was like, oh, is Bob freaking out over here? Because they are all so little and all over
Did
him.
he?
It bothered me a little bit for sure, but not in the way that I.
Rob, it
typically am
bothered you so much you disappeared for a second.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. And at a certain point, I was like, "Damn! Like, how does Gamera get away?" And I mean, he eventually does, but like, yeah, it's like people would ask those stupid questions back in the day. It's like, how many 5-year-olds do you think you could take, bro? Like, how many?
Yeah. I love that though, because they look really good on the suit. Like
they do.
They did a good job. Like because
they made hundreds of those little Legion soldiers to clip on the Gamera suit.
Is that how they did it? Okay, it looked really good and really convincing.
The scene where they were crawling up was CG, but the scene where we actually get a close up, that was actually like they sticked on a bunch of the Legion soldiers, which
that's interesting.
Apparently those things can actually be found just randomly at any hobby shop in Japan.
That's fucking awesome.
They made like hundreds of these things.
Damn.
What was I gonna say? Okay, yeah, we've talked about things that we like about the movie quite a bit. I wanted to talk about one thing that I had problems with, which is the editing in this movie. Really? There's a lot of really odd fucking choices in this.
The shot, the rescue shot.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the glaring one.
Then what's funny is it's such an awkward shot in the comedic dub. They made fun of it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kind of have to, because it just cut out the scene if you're gonna do that.
I really want to know behind it. Like, did they lose the footage? Did they run out of time?
That's what it seems like. It seems like they something was damaged and they had to show absolutely totally random clips, frames from that footage. And it's like, why just cut it at that point? We can assume that they were saved. We're not stupid.
Maybe it was just to pad out the runtime.
Maybe. And that's another thing is there does seem to be, I felt like there was a little bit of that going on anyway.
Chris, you mentioned there's a comical dub of this movie. I think we should touch on that briefly real quick.
So lay it on.
When this film was released in America, it was brought over and dubbed
God's country.
It was dubbed over by ADV. And they're the original guys who did the original Neon Genesis Evangelion dub. And they're when it comes to kaiju dubs, it's actually one of the better ones, because it's not like they grabbed some randos from some Hong Kong export company. This was like an anime dubbing, which it's not Funimation, but it's pretty good. And as a joke in the original release, and it was a miracle, this managed to get released on the Arrow video was what's known as the Lake Texarkana dub, kind of like a parody of like how the original Gamera films had their own unique dubs. Like they actually have different American dubs, but this is like basically, if you guys seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged, this is basically that, but the joke is everyone is a redneck.
Shall we play the clip, Bob?
Do it.
Yeah, Randy, play it.
I've been looking down here all day and we ain't found nothing. Well, what about the meteorite? Meteorite? What are you, dumb? What? Are you talking about that burning ball of fire that was slowing down as it came out of the sky? Hell, I thought I was drunk. Drinking? Well, I'm drunk right now.
Dude, that's pretty great.
That was
Wow.
Bill Clinton on there.
I'm drunk right now.
There's a recurring.
Dude,
There's a
I would
recurring-
watch this movie again with that dub. That
Me
one sounds
too.
like
I
a
would
lot
definitely
of
watch it
fun.
again.
Well, there's a probably the one. I remember that scene, the subway scene, where it was like everything's gone freeze frame. It seems the director lost money in production. And there's and then there's another recurring joke that kills me where whenever there's like an action scene or some like danger is involved or some random guy, you just hear he just yells holy crap. Probably the most egregious version was the beginning of the film where it was like a field trip at a field trip or some kind with a bunch of little girls, and with the meteor thing, you still hear that guy said holy crap.
That's really funny. I would definitely watch it again with that. Anyway, but like to the editing though, I also wanted to like you kind of brought this up, but like there's no like landing scene for the flower, like they kind of like talk around it and then it just kind of is there, and it does that twice. That bothered me.
It's less like it lands, they plant it and it just grows from underground. It's like it feels, it's just,
they didn't even really show that very much. They showed I guess there was one scene where they had stuff coming up from underneath the earth.
We see it explode out of buildings, but that's seriously it. We don't see the process of them like planting the plant.
Yeah.
It just kind of like, I don't know, to me, even like the exploding out of the earth, it didn't really read, because the first time you see the flowering plant, they don't really show you that, do they? Or did I just gloss it somehow? Like they only show you that in like the second iteration or
they just
third,
show
maybe.
a bunch of close-ups of it exploding, like with the roots, and then you just see, oh, here it is in full.
Yeah, and
there was like some I just had a hard time following some of the stuff like that because of the editing. And
I mean, that's a thing in a lot of like tokusatsu kaiju films is whenever there are some shots you just can't do, like, or will be very expensive, you do a lot of close-ups to imply something, and then you have the full thing revealed.
I can understand that. Like if it's a budgetary thing, which it sounds like it is, like that. I mean, I understand the logic of not having it, but the movie suffers for it, in my opinion, because I had a hard time following it, and I'm sitting here reading the goddamn words on the screen. Like it's not like I'm gonna mishear something. I'm trying to pay attention and trying to like grasp what's going on. And eventually, most things are tied up by the investigation of the human beings and just the events of the film. But there are things that are just like pointlessly confusing to me, and that's one of them. And I guess there is a point. It doesn't help the movie any that that's the case.
I will say while these aren't the strongest characters of the trilogy, hell, the most interesting character of the entire trilogy is just a minor character, Asagi. I will say, if there's one thing I appreciate, these characters are proactive as hell, which is something I appreciate in any kaiju films. These people like, well, we'll just sit on our ass and just wait till the monster figures it out. There's like, okay, we got to figure out how the Legion works. Okay, oh, that's how they work. Okay, we need a solution. Oh, they eat this, so let's not have these. And they try to communicate with the government. And hell, the government and the military are not stupid. Like there was a point where it's like, why should we help Gamera? And it's just like, we don't know Gamera's motivation. Like we're not going to take the word of a couple, from the last film, which was just a bird scientist, a private investigator, and a teenage daughter.
That's a good point. Like you reminded me, one thing I kind of wanted to touch on, and I think I've seen it a few times in kaiju films, but it popped out because of that kind of motivation, was our main woman character, the like almost like fawning over of this giant monster, of like revering it, but also has this like weird almost sexual tension, like because there's no
What?
like love
what?
interest. No, just
I'd be stroking.
I'd be stroking, dude. Just it feels
Ugh.
like in sometimes kaiju films, like the main woman character almost serves as this protagonist that pays the reverence to these gods that they deserve, you know, like they're the defenders of the honors of these monsters. They're the ones who are saying no, they're good, they're representing humanity. They're like, it's a weird element,
maybe a misogyny thing to some extent, because it's
Well,
you know, women's intuition sort of feeling.
which is funny. In the original Gamera films from the 60s and 70s, the main character is usually a little boy who magically knows everything about the kaiju and is obsessed with the kaiju. That's actually, there's a name for this trope, the Kenny. And
Kenny?
the name of the trope is of that type of character is called a Kenny. And Shusuke Kaneko and Ito wanted to subvert that by, instead of having a little boy obsessed with the monster, they had a teenage girl who is magically connected and goes in with the whole faith concept.
So was that character ever in another Gamera film before this? Or was she in 95?
The one with the pendant?
Yeah.
She was the main character in the first film and is a major character in the third film.
Because it felt like just in the way she was set up, like just like the guy in the Ichiban, like Kirin Ichiban factory or whatever, it felt like that was like, oh, the return of a fan favorite or something, because they didn't bother setting them up. It's just like pausing for applause automatically.
Yeah. She's a major character in the first film and is a major character in the third film.
I like how they're looking at her website, and then it's the two men who don't know anything about computers, and it crumbles up like a piece of paper.
That's so weird. Like, this is early internet, but I guess that's what they thought. Like, this is what happens if aliens decide to cut the internet. Instead of just, you get that little dinosaur on Google and you play that for a minute.
Just crumples like a piece of paper. That's how it works.
It's like, oh, have you not been on the Gamera website? It's like, you just go to, like, because there's a teenage girl, I'm like, it compares it like, this is like her Tumblr blog.
Just dated things like that are pretty entertaining and ridiculous.
And I do like there was some world building, like, in this film. Like, Tokyo Tower was destroyed in the last film, and in this film, it's still destroyed.
Okay.
And you see
that is
like,
nice.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean.
And one of the characters,
real nice.
And one of the main characters of the last film, she doesn't appear in this film, but we see a book written by her that one of the characters has. Can we also just say, like you guys brought up, Gamera gets its ass kicked in this film.
Wait 1 second. What was about the book? What?
Yeah.
So there's it was basically a book about the events of the previous film.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she wrote a book on.
That's right. I do remember that now that you say that. Yeah.
Like, you see the picture of like a bird-looking creature on Tokyo Tower. That's the main villain of the last film.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
But going back to how Gamera gets his ass kicked in this film, and some things I appreciate. One, can we just say, like, I will say this is probably the most Gamera gets his ass kicked in any film. Like, the flower nuke
most of the time.
The flower nuked him and basically fried him like a piece of chicken wing.
Yeah, he's never really winning until he has to. To end.
You have to believe in him.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just start with a big plasma blast? Like, why?
Okay, there is an explanation.
Nice.
It's a very last resort. Basically, so he's fueled by it's actually revealed in the third film, but basically Gamera is fueled by mana, basically bullshit life force that you see in every fantasy film ever. And the thing is, with mana, there has to be reserves for it or bad shit happens. So Gamera can't really use it too much, or as revealed in the third film, the Gauss come back with vengeance. Like, if there's too little mana, basically it opens the door for more monsters awakening.
So he fucked up by using it.
Well, it's like do I have to deal with a fuck up later or deal with the thing fucking me up right now?
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. At least there's some explanation. I did want to talk on something Chris was mentioning earlier, and I actually think that's a pretty good point, and put some things into a cultural context, where you had mentioned about kind of the dragon and Godzilla in some way. Maybe Randy mentioned that too, but actually there is, when you said that, it sparked something. I was doing a little bit of research of a thing I saw in a Korean museum where there are these like 4 auspicious beasts that are
the four gate guardians.
Yeah, that represent they're representative of directions, and they each have a color. So there's a blue dragon of the blue dragon, the vermilion bird of the south, the white tiger of the west, and then the black tortoise of the north. So there is a and they are kind of revered, and so in the same way that you would think of a dragon is this kind of mythical protecting type of beast, there is a representative as a tortoise, and the black tortoise specifically. So I mean there is a cultural precedent for that,
and in a lot of go into Hinduism or other West Asian beliefs, there is the idea that the world sits on top of the back of a giant tortoise.
Yeah, and actually you see that in a lot, if you go to the Buddhist temples, a lot of the kind of, I think this is what they stand on top of, but I think they're important graves. These big, I have a lot of pictures of them where it's like the tortoise, it's almost like a tiger tortoise, and then it's got this big pillar on its back or whatever, and it represents you see at least one, usually several, in a Buddhist temple. So anyway, it is a very prevalent character that's auspicious, and and there is a cultural precedent for a character like this.
Yeah, it's a little outlandish that giant flying turtle, but there is some cultural context behind it, as well as just it's still a unique thing. People just when people know, everyone knows who Godzilla is for the most part, but it's what the hell is Gamera? It's giant flying turtle. They're oh, it's one of the it's one of those things. How do you describe King Ghidorah? 3-headed dragon. Mothra, giant moth. Gamera, giant flying turtle.
Rocket flying turtle. But I
guess love when that motherfucker takes off like a jet.
It'd be like the equivalent of a warrior angel or something, there was some kind of movie about a warrior angel,
or several, or something like King Arthur.
Yeah,
gentlemen, we're about to have to do something Gamera will never do, which is land this plane.
He does. I mean, he has to land to fight.
It's not land, Bob. Get your shit together. Come on.
Blast off, baby. That's all he knows how to do. Is just blast off. Let's go ahead and rate Gamera out of 5. Chris, would you please kick us off? What do you think?
5 out of 5.
Whoa.
Damn. Okay.
For the lesser of the 3.
Yeah, for the lesser of the trilogy, 5 out of 5.
When I say lesser of the 3, it's in terms of rewatchability, I will prefer the first or the third film, but this film is still, again, it's a larger part, like the Legion themselves, it's a larger part of a bigger whole.
All right, sounds good. Randy, why don't you take it next?
I never go so early.
I know.
So counterbalance time. So here's the thing. I think that it's time for me to just come to terms with the fact that I don't think that I'm a very big kaiju fan in general. To me, this movie came around to being entertaining. I think Justin, you kind of described it similarly at one point, where it's but the way it was started, it was hard for me to pay strict attention, and I was really trying. I don't know. And this one being, it lacked some of the things that have in the past made the difference for me. That being some sort of cultural inference to make, some sort of a broad statement to make. And when they finally did it, it was very hammy at the end to me. Even if it set up the next one for this film, it didn't really do it any favors. I had my own personal struggle because I didn't watch Gamera, the 95 version, or any others before, so I didn't know what was possible for this character exactly. So that was on me, but my experience suffered a little bit for that. But I think that the editing was really hard for me to get over, especially towards the beginning when I'm already struggling a little bit. It was hard for me to keep in touch with it and like stay in time with what the movie is trying to do. And honestly, like the sillier aspects of the kaiju like world to me are they have a really they're best in tiny doses for me. I microdose that stuff. Give me, I'll watch an episode of Zoo Ranger and I'll be happy with the amount of kaiju stuff that happens in that.
Damn, throwing the like you didn't say Power Rangers, you said Zoo Ranger.
Well,
that
yeah, it's because it's better.
that's fair. No, he's not wrong.
I'm very right. There's no Bulk and Skull. That's the only downside.
Or Tommy Oliver.
I wish I had that soundbite. Anyway,
nothing stopping you from my next appearance.
Yeah. We'll watch the whole series. Anyway, all that said, like I just don't think that I fit into this particular niche, so it's hard for me to remain objective in that way. I think I enjoyed this conversation a lot more than I enjoyed the movie overall. So I loved getting your insights on this, Chris. Like that was really exciting for me because it's like, okay, yeah, so I see how this fits into the world. But to me, the experience of watching it was not ideal, and it was not as good as even I would say. And this is probably going to make some people pretty pissed, but I like Godzilla vs. Kong better. I'm more engaged with the character of Kong than I am with anybody in this film.
You better invest into what's his name's security system.
What's his name? Steven Seagal's?
No. I'm trying to think.
He'll protect you.
You got to invest in some security system, or you're going to have.
It's not to take anything away from anybody. I know these movies are special to people, and I'm trying to be as tempered as I can. But for me, those action scenes, like it's like the best parts of the action scenes in this film. But throughout, I feel like the editing was a problem for me in this movie, even with the action scenes in some cases. So although there is a lot to like, I love the little creatures. I loved the design of the creatures. And I did think that it had its charms. Like, I don't want to walk away from this. I've been saying mostly positive things because we've been talking about the positive things this whole time. For me, it's not a rewatcher unless I'm watching the Texarkana cut. So I'm going to go with a 2 for myself. Yeah.
I will just say, as a kaiju fan, better leave Andy alone, or I'm going to cut you.
Look, again,
no
kaiju fans, I love you. I love you. Please don't hate me. It's
he's
just
entitled to his. As the kaiju fan, I say let him have his own damn opinion and grow the fuck up.
Leave him alone.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
Oh God.
Please at me. Nice things though. Only at nice things.
You are an ignorant fool, Randy.
That's nicer than most.
Juiced. What do you think?
Yeah, a little behind the scenes for the in-depth discussion that goes in before these casts even happen. The discussion, as I was watching the beginning of this film, I sent out a text to Rob and Andy that said, this movie's kind of boo-boo. So that's the kind of stuff we get into. I felt a similar way when it started. I wasn't really about it. By the end, since it was so action focused, I became quite entertained with the fights. I thought the effects on that were good. Mostly, honestly, a lot of what carried me through this film was the Legion character, just how it operated, how it looked, just it was interesting. I even liked the story they added behind it. It looked good and the fights were cool, but if it hadn't have been for that, like every other aspect, I thought the human aspect was very flat and didn't have a whole lot of meaning behind it. I thought that the turtle flying through the air, it didn't do it for me. especially because on the other end, I thought the other monster looked so cool and it actually had a menace to it and the way it operated. This thing flying in like a UFO, and it's like like I'm gonna say it's kind of Bobo ass pseudo Godzilla roar, which was like much worse in my opinion.
Oh my
And
god.
I don't know, it
Ah.
just did not impress me.
Jesus.
And he just gets his ass whooped. Like there wasn't
okay with
even
that.
he comes in, he sucks in it's his first fight. He comes in and he sucks up a bunch of air, and that's supposed to be impressive to the human beings because it saves them from exploding. But then he just gets his ass whooped, and then it happens again, and almost 3 full times, and then he finally wins. So I don't know. It just there wasn't a whole lot of depth to this movie, but it did save a lot for me. Towards the end because the action was so cool and the effects of the villain were so cool. And this isn't usually a factor for me, but because I was so like kind of not invested in the human story, the main actress, she was super cute and she kept my attention. And so I was like, you know what?
Funny.
That's
Which
something.
is funny. You know what? You know what she's one of her best known roles for?
What?
She plays the split mouth woman in the Carved series.
In the what series?
So it's a J-horror series called
Oh.
Carved, which is based on the split mouth woman,
Oh, okay.
like a very popular urban legend in Japan.
Interesting. Okay. So
Never
yeah,
heard of it.
I don't know. I liked her. So other
It's kind of like finding out that this cute girl in one movie. Say like for example, oh my god, it turns out she was the suit actor who played Jason Voorhees.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I think I'll give it for a kaiju. I'm kind of grading it on a kaiju scale, to be honest, but I'll give it a 2.5 on that scale.
Got so many angles, it's almost just a curve.
Exactly.
It
That is
is
the kaiju
exactly a
scale.
curve.
Yeah.
The turtle shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2.5 out of 5, medium. It's all right. Bob, wrap us up. Out of 5, how you feeling about Gamera Deuce?
Gamera Deuce.
Gamera Deuce, how you feel, Bob?
I'm kind of grading this on a sliding scale as well. I'm not like a mega huge kaiju fan. I'm definitely here for like big creatures beating the shit out of each other. I get that there's a lot of history to this genre that like I don't really know about. So I take that into consideration. I think this movie does deliver at the end of the day on the monster fights. Like I was very entertained every time the monsters show up. And there's a shitload of monsters in this movie. The creature designs are really well done. I think the turtle is like maybe a little bit corny, but like knowing that it's like not of nature and that it was built to defend Earth kind of helps me excuse that. So when it like blasts off like a jet, it's like, well, you know, it's manufactured, so that makes sense to me. The alien design is fucking baller. The giant plant pod made me think of Invasion of the Body Snatchers a little bit with the human pods that you see.
That's a really good comparison, especially the 70s one, which uses a lot of floral imagery.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. The smaller creatures running around where you can see them like face to face with humans sort of amps up the drama, even though this is not a super dramatic movie, it amps it up in a couple scenes to whereas you're not just seeing houses like getting stomped by giant creatures, and you know there's dozens of people getting murdered, but you never see that actually happen face to face. I dig that you get some of the biology of the creatures, even though it's like delivered in such a matter-of-fact way that like there's really no way the humans would have this information so quickly, but like they're silicone based, and that's why they melt down all the beer bottles, and they don't have muscles, but it's just like compressed air, and that's why when you shoot them they're like, you know, spraying air everywhere. I thought that was like just really cool and something that I'd never seen before that I can remember. You know, like the alien in Aliens got like acid blood, but like just compressed air is something different. I dug that. The reason that they're on Earth is like interesting, and like how they got there compared to Tahiti, which I already mentioned, like birds flying to Tahiti and shit like that. I really dig like the general mythology behind the aliens. That was the most interesting part of the movie to me, even though it was delivered kind of ham-fisted. The dialogue is bad, but also like I wonder if that's just because we are reading it. Like maybe it comes off better if you speak Japanese and you get to hear it delivered naturally by these actors. So like I don't know if they're necessarily acting like super good or like kind of cheesy intentionally because it's supposed to be a cheesy action movie. Like I can't really gauge that. I don't know. So I don't know like how hard to knock
I will say it's kind of a quirk of Ito's writing style of just the matter of factness. If you watch Ghost in the Shell, how they just explain a lot of the techno babble very matter of factly.
Okay, I got you. It's kind of his style. That makes sense. I don't know. Overall, I think it's a very entertaining movie. I don't know that I would need to rewatch it, except for the fact that I would love to rewatch it with y'all with the Texarkana dub, because that shit, I only watched a few minutes of it, and it's like super dumb, but like that would be fun to like hang out and throw on with some buddies.
Honestly, do a movie night. Do a movie night of doing that.
Yeah, that would be a good time. Overall, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. And that's going to put our aggregate at a 3.1. Let's go ahead and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about Gamera 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Got it. This is the Rotten Tomatoes segment. In this segment, for those who don't know, I'm going to give these gentlemen the chance to guess within the best of their abilities what the critics and user score is on Rotten Tomatoes for Gamera 2 Advent of Legion. I will say, though, that there are only 2 critic reviews, so I'll do the math on it if you guys want to go for it. But there's no we can do that if you'd like. Why don't we start with you, Chris? We've got 2 reviews from critics. Which of the 3 answers do you want to give?
Yeah.
So it could either go. It's not even fair, to be honest. Like with this film's reputation, you can't even say like, "Oh, it's 100," and I get it right. It's just like can't really gauge it with 2 critics.
It's
like,
tough.
I'll just say 100 just because this film's very beloved, and probably this film was only released in America via like limited releases, or it was direct to video. It didn't get like as much as a theatrical release as the first of the trilogy in America. So I'll just say 100 only by default, to be honest.
All right, 100 default 100. Why don't we go with Bob? What do you think? What are the other remaining options you want to use?
I'll take the old 50, please.
The old 50.
This really feels like we're just picking options by default.
Yeah. That is what's happening. So, Drew, do you want to go wild with it, or you want to go with the obvious third answer?
I'll go 0.
Going.
I might
0.
as well be
rounded out.
So
I'm surprised nobody went with the comedy number. Ashamed of all of you.
I would actually be impressed if somehow got 69.
It was 69. You got it. Well, I am doing the math, so it stands to reason that I'll fuck it up that bad. Yeah. So Bob's gonna take it. It's a ringy dingy by default. It was 1 negative, 1 positive. Though I will say the negative review is technically a C+. Well, which to me isn't that negative.
Which is
so
what, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I guess. Well, in Florida public schools, it's 78. Say, 78%, and then the other one was 7 out of 10. So honestly, like it might as well be positive.
Yeah,
it might as well be 100. But
no, it's 50. It's 50.
I don't understand the voodoo that goes into fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Obviously,
it's like they probably just drink expired Voodoo Mountain Dew.
That's right.
No.
All right.
Bob,
let's start with
out of here.
There's 1,000 plus ratings, so or at least a portion of people in the audience score. Let's start with Soju this time. What do you think that the audience gave this film?
I'll say 55.
55. Bob, how about you?
I'm gonna go with 69, please.
Oh shit!
69 dudes.
Hell yeah! All right,
69 dudes.
69 dudes. And Chris, round us out. Where do you think this is going to fall?
Probably, I want to go safe and just say 72.
72. That is a
Not
perfect
too
temperature.
high.
Actually, could have easily gone higher. Chris is going to take it. It's 83% positive. 83%.
83. Wow.
Nice.
I underestimated.
Fans came out for this one.
Yeah,
on the Rotten
fans
Maters.
on this.
Is there a critics consensus on this film?
No, because there's only the two critics, and one of them says nothing. Apparently, there's no quote. And the positive one says what the film does boast that sets it above all the movies with similar plots is Kaneko's strong guiding hand and clear awareness of what he wants the movie to be.
Mhm.
All right.
Very fair.
Hey, Chris,
Yep.
would you like a hell yeet or a hell skeet?
Hell skeet.
All right, here it is.
Well, that means we have ourselves a hell skeet sweet.
Hell skeet. Love it.
Bob, you got a
Love
couple sweeps lately. I mean, you got a help from Chris on this one, but
Having Gamera skeet across the ground when he lands.
yes.
Totally.
Skeet, yeet, or that's a new
Yeah.
segment. Skeet or yeet.
No.
Eat it or eat it.
He skeets gold because he's from Atlantis and whatnot. Randu,
Skeets
thank you for running the old Rotten Maters. Juice, you said there wasn't really any trivia to speak of. Is that right?
There was a sketch unless Chris wants to lead a segment, but I always just pull from the IMDb trivia section.
He's kind of laid it
so-
on us already.
He did. Yeah, he
Yeah.
really did. All right,
so
well,
yeah, we can
let's see.
skip it.
Let's see. Okay,
Oh,
Chris,
whatever.
Chris, unless you got anything off the top of the dome that you wanted to add.
Some I know at the top of my head. There is a in-canon reason why Gamera's suit is a different design in all three films.
Oh.
He's evolving to adapt to the villain of the last film
Mhm.
Oh.
Nice.
because he has
Is that-
like hyper evolution powers.
Don't you think that's kind of a ripoff of Shin Godzilla, though?
How's it a
That's
rip
a little
off
bit of a
this film?
ripoff of Dragon Ball Z.
I'm fucking with you guys.
Also, can't really say it's a ripoff if the director of the special effects artist of this film brought it over when he co-directed this. So
Don't you think that's a little bit of a ripoff of Darwin's theory of evolution?
I'm glad that I got the proper response
hold on.
I was looking for.
hold on, I'm gonna look up the picture, but I want to show you guys how the Legion suit operated. The Mother Legion specifically.
Mama Legion. Wasn't there like two people in the suit?
Yes, there are two people in the suit, but it's in a very precarious way. Hold on, I need a clear picture.
Is it like the classic horse costume where it's like face to
Nah.
ass?
No, it's not face. It's not face to ass. It's more like face to the. It's
The
like
groin?
more like
Face
the
to gr-
head's on the back of the ass.
Is it 69 dudes?
Damn.
Yeah, I can't make
Yeah.
out a picture. Face to back.
The-
of
the
ass,
audi-
that's interesting.
People aren't going to be able to see that picture through our audio, I don't think.
So yeah. So just look if you guys can Google it. Google.
Yeah.
So the way it works is you got the guy in the front is like, like standing up, and then the guy behind him is kind of like laying his head on his ass, and he's like up, like he's kind of like
That's
laying
a
down
96.
That's it.
A 96.
That's the old 96.
Nobody's getting off tonight, baby. Hey-o.
Speak for
Like
yourself.
I'll
Bob.
just say for sure there is no eye contact.
Thank God for that.
Oh,
That's the kink I like. Don't look at me.
It really gets me off.
It's a backwards horse. It's more like the horse is going to kick you in the back of the head formation.
The
Put
eye
the back of
contact.
your head. Put the back of your head on my ass, quick.
The eye contact breaks my concentration.
The backwards man. I can walk backwards fast as you can. I can walk backwards fast as you can.
there will never be a better time for that bump.
No king shaming.
The old 96.
All right, let's. Bob, I thought you were running this ship. What are we doing here?
Thank you for that glorious bit of trivia. Let's
Hold
go
on.
ahead and jump in. You got more?
Well, I was going to say we can have Juice read more of the trivia as I find some more.
I
What
can
you
take a
got?
look. Let's see if I might have closed the tab since we just accepted that we weren't going to do it.
All right. Sounds like it's time to get into our Cooter of the Week. Here we go.
All right.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the Week.
Juicy J, what is a Cooter and why are we hunting them?
Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, is there anyone you can think hits Cooter level in this movie?
Closest character, like I know it's easy to say like the villain kaiju is the Cooter, but can I just say the most closest human character is that one asshole in charge of the power line at the end of the film, where Obitsu was like, hey, we gotta please turn on the power, and it's just like, is this some prank? And he's like, do I have some better time? He's like, all right, I'm gonna hang up. Like, that's the closest thing. And it's just like, dude, there's a giant monster attack.
Oh, this is like actually touching on something that I probably should have brought up in my review. I didn't think about it in the moment, but one of the problems I had with this movie is that none of the, like, all these characters are as if they were written by a child, like in terms of like nobody has ulterior motives for the most part. There's very little conflict between humans. It's all like there's one bad guy, it's the kaiju, and then the power company guy is like the next biggest villain just because he he thinks it's a prank call. Like there's not a whole lot of like engaging qualities between the human characters, except that they all work together perfectly, and it's like the guy too fantastical for me.
The guy at the spa, I was like, nobody's acting appropriately to what is happening. The guy at the spa in Tokyo who's just like, man, they said they'll stop that giant monster. No reason to leave the spa. It's like, okay.
Living his life.
That dude has a massage scheduled. He has no time for this bullshit.
He paid it in advance. And they have a no refund deposit policy.
I'm going. Fuck this kaiju. Yeah, I don't think there's a Cooter in this movie. Even if you look at the kaiju themselves, like it doesn't hit the points really. It's just like rote fantasy evil.
It's like can't even say like patheticness. Like it beats Gamera's ass.
It does.
Can't say attire. It is probably the best looking monster of the entire genre.
Yeah.
Manipulation. It doesn't really manipulate anything. It can't even say
sexually deviant though. My God. No, it's not. I have nothing to back that up.
Yeah, this movie might be completely Cooter free.
It's too innocent for Cooterdom. This movie.
The Japanese even know how to do Cooters.
I will say the first film, the third film has some major Cooter competition.
Okay, good.
Apparently,
Justin.
Miles. Thanks, Miles.
He really fucked us. Miles is the Cooter of the Week.
Damn.
That man gave us money.
Yeah, calling out a Patreon.
Manipulation.
I don't think we should cross that particular bridge.
If you guys, you guys made Rob Zombie a Cooter one time.
Rob Zombie doesn't give us money.
Trust me, he doesn't give us money, and I'll never give him my money. So
as soon as he does, I'll start praising his films.
Yeah, if he wants to buy us off, we're very cheap dates.
If you guys
wants to sell out, can't wait.
Dude, I have been wanting to sell out for literally years now.
Sell out juice,
begging for it. Actually,
please let me sell out.
Let me sell.
Gotta have something to sell.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
You know, pulp free soju juice.
Damn, I kind of want some soju with the pulp in
the mountain, bro. And we figure we's a little juice.
Oh my God.
There you go.
You know what? That's gonna roll straight into what I've been watching this week. So let's get into it. Here we go.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Oh yeah. Hey Bob, what you been watching?
Let me
ask. Get in there,
Bob. Get into it. So I picked up a new release from Arrow Video. It's this little movie called Phantom of the Mall from the late 80s.
Okay.
That's not where I expected you to go.
Yeah.
So
Phantom of the Mall, is that me?
Surprisingly enough, it's got a young little babyface Pauly Shore in it.
There you go.
Oh my god.
And he definitely plays like comedic relief in the movie, but he is far from his final form of the Weasel.
Oh, you have a daughter. Is she hot? What?
I love these new bumps.
Yes.
They're not.
Thank
They're
you.
YouTube clips.
Found
those on the fly.
That'll work. That will work. This movie's definitely got some goofy ass Pauly Shore in it. It's about this teenage kid who dies at the very beginning of the movie, and there's like some weird shit going on in the mall, and like his ex-girlfriend is experiencing some stuff that only like your boyfriend would know about, but he's dead. How can it possibly be happening? Spooky stuff going on in the mall. It's like it's a pseudo like play, obviously a Phantom of the Opera, but it's got like some goofy slasher vibes thrown in there. It's a fun time. It's a fun watch. If you can get your hands on it, I'd recommend it.
Would you say this is better than Slaughterhouse?
What?
Better or worse than Slaughter High? Is that what you said?
Better. Because this sounds like Slaughter High, but are the characters less obnoxious?
I think I might put on Slaughter High first. The characters are less obnoxious in this, but I like the kills better in Slaughter High. So it's a give and take, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't go for the teens, you go for the kills, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if I still have to deal with some obnoxious little shits, I don't want to deal with some obnoxious little shits.
Yes, I agree. Other than that, I've just been watching Christmas movies. Put on Jingle All the Way because we were talking about that on the last show and how much Sinbad fucking kicks ass. Jingle All the Way, watch it. It's a great holiday film. Throw it on with the family too. Also, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2. Revisited those. Also, finally finished up my fourth watch of The Sopranos, which is fucking one of the best shows of all time. I don't get tired of it. Also, went on like this long ass fucking road trip over the past 2 weeks. Saw Randu become an honest man finally. Been waiting, Randy.
An honest man.
Yeah, well, you know.
Come on.
It was in all seriousness, it was a fucking great time seeing you boys and celebrating. I fucking loved it. It was fantastic. Also, I got to watch Jeff Rosenstock play a concert in Orlando, which was incredible. We went to a shitload of museums in Washington, D.C. I don't know. Been seeing some really cool stuff lately.
Getting on the gram, Bob. You're finally gramming.
It's for the gram.
Selfies and everything. Wow.
Selfies. I did not post a single selfie.
That is not true.
I posted pictures that other people took of me.
I don't think
like your profile picture.
Precisely. Anyway, that's enough for me. We got other people to hear from. Ray and Do, what you been watching?
Well, it's been a little bit since I've participated in this, so I have quite a list racked up. I'm gonna hold some back for the interest of time. Rewatched Mars Attacks. Movie's still great. It's a great fucking movie. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, we need to cover that shit.
I really like that movie, and it's probably a lot of nostalgia glasses involved in that, but at the same time, still pretty fucking good. It made me laugh. Watched a little movie. My first foray into the oeuvre of Pauly Shore was a film called Son-in-Law, which begs the question, this guy was popular? And that's really where I'll leave that, I guess. I can't stop speaking like him, of course, but
it's been a couple weeks
it's
now.
so fun. Well, you guys aren't around, so I do it less. I just do it in my sleep now.
Just tobacco. She loves it.
The ghost of Pauly Shore possesses you at night.
I forced Rob, Justin, I forced Rob and Justin to watch Doctor Strangelove with me. Rob passed out. Justin finished.
I did.
He did. I love that movie. It's great.
I need to see it.
What's that?
I still need to see it.
It's, like it starts out feeling not at all like a comedy.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that. I had to assuage Justin through the channel there.
I mean, in fairness, this is a Kubrick film. So
yeah,
I think comedy is an alien concept for him.
It's a black comedy. Like it's a very, very dark comedy.
It's very dry.
I mean,
And
it's
dry.
still being funny, which I think that's like
It's
alien
funny in
concept.
very subtle ways. Anyway, it's great. I watched Rugrats Hanukkah again with Soju and with Becky. It was great. I had
Love
actually
that
never seen it
show.
before. That is the first time I had seen that, which I know it's like one of the more popular episodes, but never crossed my eyes before. Happy to see it.
Fun fact, I watched that as a child and asked my father to fashion me a dreidel.
Nice.
And did he?
Yeah, because he's great.
Cool.
Nice. All right. Where was I? Okay, Dolly Parton. I watched a biographical documentary about Dolly Parton. It was very interesting. She is fucking incredible, by the way. And she's coming to her own culturally right now, I guess, and that's maybe why it showed up on the top of my list. But it did, and like, man, what an interesting person. Like, she's got a fucking ton of accomplishments that, you know. Did you guys hear that she like helped fund the vaccines and shit, like low key without telling anybody? Like,
no,
the current vaccines.
Yeah, like I don't remember which one. I think it was Moderna. One of those. Like she was like a big contributor to that, and somebody found out about it. She never told anybody.
Wow,
Like,
a celebrity did more effort than probably most celebrities in history.
Dude, and she like has her little like book thing for impoverished kids and stuff. Like she's a great person. I mean, I'm kind of like impressed. I finally watched Bo Burnham's Make Happy, which is the second special I've seen of his. I am deeply in love with Inside. Like it's the top 5 songs on my Spotify were all from that album, the Inside album. And it was interesting to go backwards because I don't know Bo Burnham beyond that. So it was interesting to go backwards and see a lot of the connective tissue, and also see like, I think I can understand why some people were a little dubious of him, because he likes to play with his food a lot. He likes to play with the audience a lot. So like maybe like people thinking that, I don't know, is he being sincere about this or whatever? I can kind of see that now. But at the same time, I don't think it was totally sincere in a way only a performer can be. You know what I mean? Like an onstage performer. It's written, but it's still true in some way. Anyway, I thought it was pretty good. Not as good as Inside. I'm going to leave it there. There's other stuff, but just don't have time. So.
Right on. Chris, what you been watching?
So I've been watching a few things. Some just prepping for GargantuaCast stuff, which I won't reveal because I'll tease next season. I have been watching some Christmas stuff just to get in the season. Last night I finally saw Rare Exports.
Ooh,
nice. Very, very good. It's kind of, I feel like it's probably like a good double feature with Krampus as that playful Christmas horror film, like on par with something like I know people like say like Gremlins is up there as like the playful Christmas film, but I feel like to a point, Gremlins, which I also saw recently as well, which is a good comparison, is where Gremlins stops becoming a Christmas film like by the time it reaches the third act. Like you forget it's a Christmas film, while Rare Exports definitely like the whole mythology of Christmas, especially a Finnish, that dramatic air like Eastern European place to do it. And the film is funny, the film is very fast. It is also oddly epic at times. I really appreciate it. I've been watching some Christmas specials that I grew up watching. One I saw recently, which always been near and dear to my heart, is the Billy and Mandy Christmas special.
Yeah,
which had Gilbert Gottfried as Santa Claus.
Nice.
And it involves the plot of trying to turn Santa Claus back from human because he was turned into a vampire. And they have to meet a vampire voiced by Malcolm McDowell.
What?
And yeah,
that
Malcolm
guy will do anything.
No, I want you to. This is what happens when we first meet Malcolm McDowell. He's a vampire brushing his teeth as he's singing in the rain. This is a kids film, and they have Malcolm McDowell singing in the rain.
That dude, he will do anything.
I saw the Misadventures of Flapjack Christmas special, which is hilariously dark and weird. Trying to think of other films. Oh, and I saw National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
Nice.
The best. Sweet deal.
Don't throw me down, clock.
One of my favorite fucking lines. Juice, what you been watching?
Yeah, it's been several weeks. I watched all those movies with Randy. First time seeing Doctor Strangelove. It took a while, and Randy kept being like, "Keep watching, keep watch." But actually, by the end, like there was
Crack the
some
whip.
good laughs and a lot of cool cultural references too. That was kind of the big thing. The guy riding the bomb and stuff. I was like, "Oh shit." So that was cool to actually finally see. I'm glad he made me watch it. Yeah, we watched Son-in-Law, which I hadn't seen for a long time, dude. Fucking Pauly Shore, Jesus Christ. That was a wild blast from the past. A lot of Christmas stuff. Watch Klaus again. It's become a yearly watch for me. That movie slaps.
Can't wait. I'm gonna watch it too.
Yeah. Let's see. We all watched Christmas Vacation together. We watched Black Christmas. Yeah, with the OG Black Christmas, which is still great, very fantastic. I can't remember if I mentioned this on the last episode or not, but I watched that documentary about Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, which was a cool 90s music documentary that's on HBO Max. Let's see, I've been watching the British Bake Off. That show, so pleasant, so wonderful. The newest season, they have a holiday special, which I need to just switch over, because the one that I'm watching now it's clearly like spring or something. I don't know, it's very warm and green outside, so I need to switch over to the Christmas one. And
warm and green in Britain.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. It always does. I think they shoot in spring, like the height of spring or something, because it always looks super
week
nice.
Of spring.
The 1 week of spring. What else? Let's see. We watched National Lampoon. We watched a lot of stuff at Randy's house, but I think he pretty much covered it. Any other a lot of Christmas stuff. But I think I've been catching up a little bit on Big Mouth as well. I kind of dropped off. I don't know. I might be a little bored of the jokes. It was solid like those first couple seasons, but I don't even know where I'm at now, what season, but it's starting to get kind of stale, but I don't even know if I'll finish this season. But yeah, that's about it. That's about all I've been watching. Oh, no. I watched Christmas Evil. I knew there was one more Christmas because I was on a cut above. And man, I really, that is such an underrated Christmas horror movie. Like Christmas Evil.
Simply evil.
Yeah, it's on Shudder right now. And so if you haven't seen it, it is the season. Go watch Christmas Evil. And,
that's where I also watched Rare Imports.
Yeah.
Exports.
Yeah. But yeah, and then listen to a Cut Above's episode with me on it. Boom. That's it. That's all I've been watching and doing.
Sweet. Let's jump into our last segment, which is, of course, our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Screams.
If you are listening and would like to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. We have 2 voicemails this week. First up, we're going to hear from our boy, Tom. Let's hear what Tom has to say.
Bob, it's Tom. There's too many blues. It's Black Friday. There's too many blues. For God's sakes, Bob, save yourself. Don't buy the blues. Don't buy the blues. You need to buy a jet ski. Don't buy the blues. Oh, God, Bob.
Words of wisdom from a troubled man.
I bought the blues.
From a troubled man or for a troubled man?
Both.
It's both. That was your Jacob Marley moment, Bob. Are you going to change your ways and celebrate Christmas with a goose? Or what?
I'm going to gift blues.
Mikey is your Marley or whatever. He's he's gonna come back with the chains.
He's the one. He's got chains of like Evil Dead box sets around his shoulders.
Bob, I was wrong. I was so wrong.
This Criterion's not worth the human cost.
What's who's Tiny Tim?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess that's Soju, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it is, but by default. No, it's Tom.
Yeah, my busted leg.
Tiny
you know.
Tom.
It's
Tiny Tom. Yeah, I bought a few blues on Black Friday. I didn't go ape shit though. I controlled myself. I saw a giant stack that ape shit.
That was Bob on Black Friday.
Tom posted a picture in the Let's Get Physical Media channel over on our Slack. He had a fat stack of boxes, man. Good for you. You treated yourself. Good for him.
Bob only bought 99 blues on Black Friday.
I bought 3 movies.
Bob's the guy
controlled.
passing the hash pipe, saying, "What, man? I mean, just one more hit, it'll be all right."
I just need to even out, okay?
I am Rivers Cuomo singing about a hash pipe. Thanks for calling in, Tom. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and a wonderful Black Friday, sir. Next up, we're going to hear from that some bitch that chose the movie we talked about this evening, which was Miles. Let's hear what Miles has to say for himself.
We're going in real hard on Miles. There we go.
What's going on, guys? It's Miles here. You guys are reviewing Gamera 2, which is my pick this week. Originally, I had picked Curse of Frankenstein, and reason I switched, I was drinking one night, watching Gamera 2, as you do, and I was just like, this movie fucks. I was like, more people need to see this movie. Still watch Curse of Frankenstein at some point. That's probably Peter Cushing's best role. But yeah, no, this movie's just solid, man. If you like giant monster movies, or if you've ever liked a Godzilla movie, or you have any affinity for guys in suits, this is probably the best it gets. The acting, the directing, the music, everything in this is better than anything the Godzilla franchise was doing in the 90s, by far. But yeah, and Godzilla fans they can be kind of stupid, and I know the irony in saying that, but we're kind of dumbasses. I mean, we're grown men that like children's movies with people in suits fighting. But yeah, there's this thing with Godzilla fans where they can't admit, not all of them, but some of them, they can't admit that there might be other kaiju movies that are better directed or made. I mean, you're talking about people where if they see a bad review about Godzilla versus Kong, it's not because the critic just didn't like the movie. It's because they were King Kong fans, obviously. But yeah, no, this movie's good. Bob, I want to see how long it takes you to pronounce Gamera right. And I didn't correct you. I know I saw you in person the other day. I didn't correct you because some kaiju fan, one of these man children is going to listen to this episode and they're going to hear you say Gamera, and I want to read like the angry reviews on iTunes because I think that would be pretty funny. But yeah, guys, I hope you like the movie. Check out the rest of them. Check out the whole trilogy. It's good shit. All right, guys, take it easy.
Man, we're painting a real K-poppy sort of vision of the kaiju fan base right now.
Miles, let me just say one more time, thank you so much for picking Gamera Deuce.
Gamera Deuce. That son of a bitch.
Rage of Legions.
He sat across from me and locked eyes with me and watched me say that fucking name over and over incorrectly, and I never got it right this whole episode. That son of a bitch set me up for failure.
I feel like that entire I feel that entire phone call should go on the poorly aged things Twitter.
Poorly aged.
Well, I don't know. I'm starting to want to fortify our defenses because apparently we're going to be in the thick of some shit. For not saying
Miles.
Don't worry, I'll be your tour guide in this war zone.
Oh,
Legion is coming.
Miles,
Legion is coming.
Miles,
will
set
you
us
be
up
our
for failure.
Will you be our Gamera?
I'll be your Gamera.
All right, sweet.
I'll get my ass kicked for the most part, but in the end, I'll win.
You'll blast.
That's all I asked. That's all.
Will you be our Gamera Deuce? That's what I really wanted.
We have to fight the legions.
Miles just wanting us to get shitty iTunes reviews. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
It doesn't take any effort for that.
It doesn't. Oh man, thanks for calling in. Thanks for picking this flick, Miles. It was cool to watch. It was cool to talk about. It was cool to look you in the eye, even though you're fucking me. You're fucking me, and I didn't even know it.
You feel like
nothing I'd ever
John
smelled
Goodman
before in my
and
life.
John Goodman and Big Lebowski.
Met a stranger in the Alps.
Again. That's right. Yeah. That's all the voicemails we got this week. Again, if you're listening, you want to call in and leave a voicemail, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Gentlemen, do you have any prompts you want to throw out there for next week?
I mean, Christmas is coming up. We could do Christmas theme, something.
What's the best kaiju for Christmas? How about that? I don't know how many responses we'll get for that. Let's put it out there.
I have an answer.
Yeah.
Hit us. Peter Jackson King Kong. It actually does take place on Christmas.
And he does a snow dance.
Why have we never covered that as a Christmas special?
Because we don't have 7 hours.
Yeah, you don't have it. You don't have Peter Jackson time.
Yeah,
nobody does. Nobody does.
Like I know you critique the editing of Gamera too, but Peter Jackson needs an editor to begin with.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Peter Blumpkinator. All right, boys.
That's what you say often.
But they call them in the Hollywood Hills.
I don't know. What's something holiday really? I mean, yeah. Tell us your favorite Christmas horror. I guess I think we asked that before, but you know.
Yeah. Is there
this time around?
You know what? Watching Christmas Evil again, I was curious if more, because we're kind of struggling at this point to even host a decent Christmas poll. I mean, these movies might be solid. I hope they are. The P Deuce, but what's like a hidden Christmas gem that maybe you wish we would talk about or know about or something? That would be cool.
Yeah, maybe
put your
like
favorite on blast.
Maybe unintentional favorite Christmas movie, like films that just happen to take place on Christmas.
Yeah, that's kind of what our poll.
We're very
is,
broad with our description of Christmas movies.
Santa conquers the Martians or whatever that shit is.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let us know what's a hidden gem in the holiday realm.
Hidden holiday gems. Call in and let us know. That does it for us this week here at Straight Chilling. Chris, thank you so much for sitting in with us this week, keeping us straight on all the kaiju facts. Do you want to remind the listeners one more time where they can find your show?
Yep, I am the co-host of GargantuaCast. We're on all the podcast platforms. Spotify, it's Google Music now, right? It's not Google Play anymore.
I don't even know. Is it? Okay, nice.
It's whatever.
It's whatever. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's whatever Google's podcast format is. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all that good stuff. You can find our social media at GargantuaCast on Twitter, as well as my personal Twitter at Chris_Kaiju, and my co-host Cole is at the McGrisson. Hit us up, talk about kaiju stuff and horror as well. I'm a big horror nut as well. And, lately when it comes to this holiday season, I'm more hyped for Spider-Man.
Ooh, next week, my guy.
Oh, yeah. So close.
Spider-Man.
Awesome.
Spider-Man.
Check out Chris everywhere you get your podcasts. We're going to be back next week with a brand new show. As always, we're talking about the winner of the December poll pick, which was P2, or as Justin insists, fucking P Deuce, from 2007.
I love being incontinent.
I love being incontinent.
Check out P2. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes unless you think we don't know shit about kaiju, and then don't. Follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you want to join in on our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets. I'll send you a link to join in on the fun. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
You're a monster.